hooked on you, baby, you're golden. Time moves, I never noticed, just can't get enough. Got me wonderstruck. Hooked on you, baby, you're golden. Time moves, I never noticed, just can't get enough. Got me wonderstruck. I knew the second I met you, I was doomed to never forget you. Just one single touch got me wonderstruck.
Dobry wieczór, nazywam się Karolina Łappo Rzeplińska i witam w Power Show.
Good evening. My name is Karolina Rzeplińska and welcome to the new Power Show. Thank you so much for being here with us since the beginning. I hope that there are some new people on today's broadcast. We really want as many people as possible to know about our new Power Show initiative. And I'll tell you right away, because I've been getting messages like, is this live? Believe me, it is. It's dramatically hot today. It's like 80 degrees here, probably. Well, maybe I'm exaggerating, but it really is as hot as it gets all around Poland. And please forgive me, because various unforeseen issues may arise due to this heat. We've already had some technical problem because of the heat. But getting right to the point, because this topic has raised a lot of questions. Mums do business. I'd like to welcome amazing women, very entrepreneurial and resourceful mums gathered here with me today. Let's welcome Zgódka, Luiza Kowalczyk, Kowalska, Martyna April and Edyta Woronowicz. Hello ladies.
I Edyta Woronowicz. Witajcie dziewczyny. I zastanawiałam się, powiem szczerze, od czego
I was wondering where to start, to be honest, because this is a topic that we would like to use to show mums that it's really important to be fulfilled, that it's important to be happy mums and professionally fulfilled mums.
Opinii, tak naprawdę wiadomości, które otrzymałam od kobiet.
And I'm going to start by quoting some messages that I've received from women. And I'd like you to comment on these comments and feedback. First one, sent by Małgorzata. For me, the biggest problem is the separation from the child. I have 1.5-year-old Szymek. I already tried to return to work when my son was 1 year old. Neither he nor I could survive this separation. I cried going to work and he cried at home. I gave up. I'm not sure I want to go back to work. First of all, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't make much money in my profession, just enough to pay for a babysitter. This is the second opinion. The third one, I miss contact with people, getting out of the house, dealing with adults' issues. I really enjoy spending time with my children, but at the same time, I feel like I'm missing out on something. And I'm afraid if I will find my way back into the job market after being at home for so long. And the last feedback I received from Karolina, my namesake, mum of a 4-year-old Jacob and 2-year-old Philip. Employers suggest that I have fallen out of rhythm. They are reluctant to see a mother of young children on the team. They are concerned that I will go on sick leave or need time off to care for my children. So this topic generated a lot of interest, as I've never got any messages before the previous episodes. And now my question to you ladies. How would you comment on this feedback from our viewers? Luiza? Honestly, when I wasn't a mum yet, I used to think that when I became a mum, my baby will go to kindergarten when it turns 6 months old. When I was pregnant, I also said that. 6 months old and I will go to work. I'm not going to stay at home in diapers. But when the baby came, everything changed. So it was such a bond that I couldn't imagine parting with the child after a year. But in fact, there came a moment after 2 years when I started to look for it, because I thought it's high time to go back to work. I started looking. And in fact, Adaś initially went to this nursery, but it was a very horrible experience. The children there cried terribly. It was nightmarish for me and for him. I just decided that it wasn't worth it, that I would stay a little longer. Fortunately, I am a mother. I gave birth to 2 children year after year, and Nadia appeared. However, for the second time, I didn't make that mistake, and I knew that I would stay longer at home. Fortunately, our new skin company appeared, and I had the opportunity to combine motherhood with work. And Edyta, how would you comment on these opinions of women who actually say, I'm out of the market, employers don't want me? In traditional work, I think that's pretty common. Separation from the child. Or, is it worth it because I'm going to make enough money to pay for a sitter? Are common concerns as well. And interacting with people. We all know we like to have some springboard though, right? What do you think? I think that every mum is different. And first of all, for a moment, all mums should forget that they are mums. And they should also think about the fact that they are women. And I would start with that. And we often say that one of our roles is to be a mother, but we must never forget about ourselves, because this will reflect badly on our children later on. So the word sacrifice, we have to reject. Looking at what the employer thinks doesn't matter at the moment, because we can find an employer who will provide us with what we want. Another thing, as we find ourselves, then fate will favor us and we will see completely different circumstances. But you joined network marketing when you were either already pregnant or had your son, right? Actually, no. I joined network marketing when I quit my corporate job after 15 years, not having a child yet. I didn't have a baby yet. Yet I changed network marketing with a little son. And I totally understand all the mums out there who are having all kinds of dilemmas. I processed the remorse of going out, of not seeing the baby for 2 hours. In fact, my husband kicked me out of the house for going to get my nails done, not for the manicurist to come to me for nails. So it's also this amazing wisdom that we also get from the outside, and we have to remember that. And I am a mum who is very fulfilled in business. And thanks to that, I'm much happier than if I was such a full-time mum at home. But as we heard Luiza's story, Luiza wanted to be at home with her children. So everyone has to ask themselves, where do I want to be? Because it's going to affect the child. Because Luiza was happy when she was at home, I was happy when I was back in business. And that makes a huge difference. Anya, here one woman wrote about finances, that in a normal job she will earn only as much as to be able to hire a nanny. How would you comment on that from your experience of a woman who used to work in a corporation and now works in network marketing and is a mum? I used to work for a corporation, so I suppose hiring a nanny probably wouldn't be an issue. I would point out something completely different. I was worried about the logistics of taking the kids to nursery, then to go to work in the morning, the stress of having to pick them up later. And that is what many of my female friends point out. We often talk about it. It's a standard that was mentioned here, so it doesn't surprise me at all. And often women are looking for an alternative solution to corporate work or a full-time job. I was looking for it too, and after I had my second child, I came across Nu Skin. I am really very grateful because I have watched for many years while working in the corporation how mothers struggle with various problems often associated with children's diseases, and stress that they have to explain to the boss again that they need to leave early and stay with the children on sick leave. And you know that that is not comfortable for anyone. Fortunately, I managed to avoid it. Martynka, what would you add? I would also add, in terms of a full-time job, that I was a full-time employee for 15 years as an accountant, and in fact my position was a one-person job. And when I went on vacation or sick leave, I had to take into account that my duties were taken over by another person. When I had a baby and my son was actually ill, I could imagine my employer's attitude when he wouldn't be happy if I was always on leave, because my duties had to be taken over by one person and there was no extra money for that. And when I came back, I don't know if I had anywhere to return. And I have double stress, whether my child will get ill and whether I will have a place to go back to. Also, on sick leave, we get paid a lot less, so it also gave me a huge nudge to change something in my life. And why did you choose network marketing? Probably because network marketing came to me on its own. I started thinking about where I could put my energy, because I wanted to be creative, I wanted to make a difference, I wanted something better for myself. But I didn't know it was going to be network marketing. Yola, a friend, came to me and proposed a business. But because I'm an accountant, a responsible woman, I wanted to check it all out and I compared other models and other companies. But here I found the best marketing plan. I really liked the team that I met, as I had already been to a beauty party. I saw what the portfolio was, what the products were, and I fell in love with all of them. And my husband, a very supportive man, said that he could see that I liked it, that my eyes lit up, and that I started to film myself, because my goal was to start helping women like me, and to help them look beautiful too, and he really helped me to start that journey. And I've been here almost 2 years now, and I'm very happy.
I jestem już tu prawie 2 lata. Jestem bardzo szczęśliwa.
No naszym celem tego spotkania akurat jest to, żeby
Well, the purpose of this meeting, in fact, is to show mums that there is another profession that you can learn, in which you can be very fulfilled, in which you can have a lot of fun, and in which you can earn very well. And I have a request. If there are mothers among our viewers, write where you are from, where you live, where you work. And I also have this request. If you have mums in your circle, and I assume that you do, because mums in our business are probably 80%, if not 90% of women who work, please share this material. We really want as many mums as possible to hear about this opportunity and want to learn more.
Dowiedzieć się więcej. Dziewczyny, jak pracujemy w tym biznesie i
Ladies, as we work in this business and we meet with different women, mums, we mostly hear, I won't say myths, but opinions that are sure as a tide, you could say. And I would like us to talk about them, to draw attention to them, and maybe to dispel these myths a little bit. So, myth number 1. I don't have time because I have very absorbing children. Edyta?
No, rzadko która mama, szczególnie jak ma pierwsze dziecko, to powie, że dziecko
Look, it's rare for a mum, especially if she has her first child, to say that a child is not absorbing, because even if it's not absorbing, if it's the first one, it's absorbing, because whatever it does is something new for us, and we just want to be a part of it. And now, again, we have to go back to what we really want. Do we want to build this future for this child because we're not doing it for ourselves? Very often, as we talk to women, they will confirm that the first thing that comes up is the question, what is your goal? It is to make my child happy. In general, women don't think about themselves. And at this point, here again I go back to what I said earlier, start with yourself. You're going to do it for yourself. You're going to do it for your child too. Because certainly, like Luiza, as a young mum going into the business, can tell you how she managed just with 2 kids. So that means you can. And I know Luiza's children, and her son is so-called Quicksilver, so he is not a child who will sit in a corner and draw something. And if she can manage to take care of the child and build a spectacular business, it means that you can. That this absorbing child is often just an excuse. It's like this. Luiza, do you want to add anything on this topic, having 2 children? In fact, yes. I gave birth to 2 children year after year. And these children are full of energy all the time. They have no breaks. They are charged all the time. Just a moment to have a drink or eat something, and they are everywhere all the time. I don't know what a child who will take care of themselves is, so I think it's a matter of decisions and choices that we actually make. That's why it's actually about these children. For example, in my case, it was that the decision was based on the fact that I want to have a better future for them. So I knew that if I went to work full-time, because that was the other alternative option for me, well, I wouldn't see them at all. So I actually preferred to be at home with them, to share these responsibilities with my husband, because it can be done, let's not hide it. If we women want something, we can do it. We can even organize our husbands, if he is supportive.
w tym temacie mama w biznesie.
One more thing that needs to be emphasized here in this mum in business topic, we don't do kids by ourselves. There's always a dad. And really, we have fantastic husbands, partners, and they can take great care of the kids too. And it's a wonderful time for our kids. And it's great that you mentioned this, Luiza.
Teraz jest mama, która nas ogląda.
But now there's a mum who's watching us, and she's a single mum. And she says, well, okay, you're so smart, you have partners who support your decisions. They want good for you, and I don't have anyone like that. I'm all by myself with this baby. And what would you say to her then? Ania? I think you have to look at the long term, because probably this mother will never have this time, let's not hide it, and she will be drowning in various duties. And at that moment, we are talking about this business, about these opportunities, and it's not that you have to commit yourself here for 10 years, because we built a business in a few years, a very stable business. It's a matter of openness, I think, and actually there are a lot of women who don't believe in it. Because we come in and they say, sounds like a fairy tale, I don't believe in it. And it just is. I know it might be a matter of watching us when we share our stories. We show how our lives are changing, how our lifestyles are changing. I think that New Skin is first of all a lifestyle. As I said before, I worked for over 10 years in the corporation. I used to struggle in the morning. For me, it was a standard. For me, it was common that I get up in the morning, run for several hours to work, and I didn't even have children yet. But I can't imagine living like that, having 2 absorbing children.
Mitu, opinii.
Well, thank you. Let me move on to the next myth, opinion. I don't want my kids constantly watching me sitting on my phone. Martyna, does it sound familiar to you?
Network marketingiem. O Boże, to ty w ogóle...
Yes, I know this because actually the closest people around me, when they found out that I started network marketing, were like, oh my gosh, you're not going to have any time at all anymore. Your kids are going to see you sitting on your phone all the time. You can't do that. And that's so not the case, because this is where planning and organization are key. If we are organized, it is easier for us. If we are not, we have to learn it. But that's what the people who invited us to this business are here for, to help us with that. And actually, I had that too. I sort of learned a system and started to figure out the rhythm of my day and the rhythm of my children. The fact is, for example, I'll plan for my child to go to bed at 12, and he won't. The norm. That's the norm. But we have to anticipate that. There are situations where kids can play by themselves, but there are situations where they can't, and then we, wise mums, deal with it in such a way to find that space and time for ourselves. Because just like Anya said, we have to think long term. Because today, for example, we will spend an hour less with these children, so they will even watch a cartoon. So what? Or play with toys. And during this time, I can do something good and earn money. Anya, and how about you? You are a very dedicated mum, in my opinion. Don't start crying yet. And how did you deal with it? How did you manage to find balance between time for children and for work? How did you combine it? I might also mention the beginnings of Nu Skin, because Nu Skin has been on the Polish market for a relatively short time, and we can say that we have been building this market. A lot has changed because now we've relocated to social media. Yet, let's not hide the fact that building a business in a traditional way as before, when I started, was a huge challenge. I suppose you might remember my daughters were very small. I was at home with one and it was difficult. It was difficult then. But looking at what we have now, what tools we have, brilliant tools. You can work from the couch. You can work when the baby is asleep. We have online trainings. It used to be that if I wanted to participate, and I really wanted to, remember, I was at all the events, I was at all the trainings, but it took a lot of logistics and, of course, working with a partner, as I have a great one. But I imagine back then it would have been hard for a woman who doesn't have a supportive husband. And now it's easier. So, to any woman who might be giving up something, let's think about what we can give up. When I was just with my child on my first maternity, I watched a lot of TV series. In retrospect, I wish I had known Nu Skin back then, because I could have just used that time more productively. And let's not hide, after the corporation, I kind of had no idea what to do with myself. I knew that I definitely didn't want to have my own business, a traditional business. I wasn't really open to networking, but that's also because I knew different companies, and I didn't know Nu Skin yet. And when I came to Nu Skin, when I saw the opportunities, it sounded like a fairy tale. But as I looked at you, you inspired me a lot. You gave me confidence, and the business in general was shown to me by my friend Karolina. And I started to look at it. I started to open up to this business, to these possibilities. Later, we went to a gigantic conference in the States, and there I think it would be hard not to believe in this business, just seeing thousands of people have already gone this way. There were no such people in Poland yet, and now it's different because there are such people, such stories. Fortunately, I have a request to our mums who are watching us, or women in general who maybe aren't mums yet. Please tell me if you've experienced any network marketing in your life. If you've worked in any network marketing, what kind of company was it? That's why it's so important, because we would love to get into that in some future episode. We know very well that very often it happens that people who work in other network marketing had bad experience, which translates to the whole category and unfortunately limits that opportunity to start working with us. Martyna, another opinion, and I would like you to comment on it. My husband works and that's enough for us.
Naprawdę, dlatego że mój mąż...
Perfect question for me, for real, because my husband is a fantastic man and makes very good money. We have never lacked anything. But do you realize that people who earn more, for example, have to work more? They are more often not at home, and I want to have a full family. I want my family to be happy. I want me and my husband to see how the children grow up, how they talk. And I didn't have that because I was alone with the children. That's why I was so clingy to my job, because my job was a steady, full-time, 8-hour job. But really, with my husband's job, those 8 hours were too much for me to miss, plus the commute. So I thought to myself, and this was my motivation, that I have to find such a job to make my family united, to bring it together. And that's what motivates me every day. I know why I do it. I do it for my family, for my children. And it's great when there's a weekend and my husband is with us, how we go biking together, how we all enjoy each other. And sometimes I see things like that during the week, where families go for walks all together. And to me it's something strange, but I want it to be an everyday thing. It's just, I do it for my family, for myself, for growth, and so that my family is a real family and not just on paper.
Myślę sobie, że też ważne jest to, na co często kobiety mają takie zamknięte uszy.
I think to myself that it's also important to keep your eyes and ears open, and it's a pity that lots of women keep them closed. Such various scenarios can happen in life. Something can happen to your husband. Suddenly the family can be cut off from the money because the husband simply won't be there. And cases like that happen. I have a few friends who have had to deal with situations like that, and I think it's good to think, especially if you're a mum, about the best way to secure your children's future. Right? Edyta, anything else you'd like to add here? Yes. I'll tell you honestly, I can't imagine at all that I would be able to support myself with only one source of income. And now we have a really satisfying situation. And my amazing husband asked, as he already knows how much I earn, or actually I say we earn, because it is a very large part of his share, he asked if he can already quit his job. And you know what? Let's not hide that at some point in the beginning this money is very important. Yet later on, there are also other aspects that matter. The point is that every person needs to have a passion, needs to have their own activities. And this is what I want to teach our son, so that he doesn't live other people's lives, other people's goals, but thinks from the perspective of what amuses him, what gives him happiness. And whatever he wants to do, it's important that he's just happy. And when he sees, I assume, happy parents, it will be the best example in the world for him. And children look up to us a lot, a lot. That's why we have to first start with ourselves. I'm glad you say that, because that's also often what women who work with us say. I also work for my children. I want to show them a good example. I want to show them that their mother is active, that she is fulfilled, that she is ambitious, not that she sits in front of the TV and does nothing, because such a child will also be a different person in the future. The last opinion, quite common. My husband keeps telling me to take care of the children. Luiza?
Luiza?
Sure. I don't know it from autopsy, but I've heard about such situations from the people I work with. Personally, I just don't understand the approach of the man, because, as Edyta mentioned, the decision that there are children is made by two people, so they are responsible for these children in the same way. In my opinion, there should be cooperation, sharing of responsibilities. From the very beginning, I made sure that each of us would have an active role, because I want the children to have both a mum and a dad. I want them to feel that both parents are important, not just one of them, because let's not hide the fact that if only one parent is involved, then those children feel it too. They see it too. So I personally can't imagine such a situation, although the fact is there are a lot of them. And I have this other question unrelated to these reviews, although, in a way. Can I add something? Often I think it's a result of the woman not being able to explain what the business is really about. And we often say, talk to that partner of yours. This is the partner. You chose this person. You have to explain that in the beginning you will have to focus more on the work. So he should support you in taking some of the responsibilities. I think that a man should be equally involved in the household jobs. Yet there could be a different situation when the man is working a lot, like in the case of Martyna's husband. And I think this kind of honest conversation, explaining, so now I'll focus on the job more and I need your support, but this way we'll have this and this. And the other thing, the independence of women. I cannot imagine that a woman wouldn't like to be independent. And apart from the situations you mentioned, which unfortunately do happen, there can be various situations. There can also be divorce. It can also happen that our partner leaves us. And it often happens that a partner looks at a woman who just watches those TV series, who has no passions, who is not attractive for a man. And I think that we, because we are so enterprising, because we are active all the time, because we earn good money and we also have the opportunity to take our partners on these success travels, which are very nice trips. And I will tell you honestly, my husband Łukasz became very interested in it, and I even had the impression that he actually gave me more freedom and took on more responsibilities, because I know that he, for example, dreams about such trips. We both love to travel. If we can additionally receive such trips to our salary, why not take advantage of it? You talked about money, and I wanted to get to that money a little bit, because you've already reported that often people don't believe that we make any money at all in this model. I received this question. Well, yes, but for me to quit my job, I'd have to earn 5,000 Polish zloty. So what do I have to do?
Pieniędzy chciałam troszeczkę dotrzeć, ponieważ
And I want to tell you what you need to do in the simplest way that I can. If you start, you as a person, we help as a team according to a specific scheme, a system of action. You start working with our support and you build yourself a team of customers and distributors, on average in 2 to 3 months, although there are some people who built it in a month. And then you earn about 2,000 to 2,500 Polish zloty. If you want to earn 5,000 Polish zloty, you have to find yourself one mum. If you are a mum, another mum, and help them do the same. And you earn 5,000 Polish zloty. If you want to make 10,000, you have to find another mum and another mum. 4 mums, and you make 10,000 Polish zloty. And I know how that may sound, and I know that you may think that this is impossible. Now, what kind of work do we do, and what kind of product do we sell? And that's the question I've received as well.
I ja wiem, że możecie myśleć, że to jest niemożliwe, ale
And we will definitely talk about our portfolio in this program, in these next few programs. Only the portfolio is huge, because we have over 250 products.
to portfolio jest ogromne, bo my mamy ponad 250 produktów.
So today, I'd like to introduce you to technology that we'll be launching in September,
Którą wprowadzimy na rynek już we wrześniu.
which is a brilliant opportunity to build your business. The technology is called Boost. Check it out for yourself. This technology will be going to market as early as September, and this technology is going to be a brilliant opportunity to build even a much bigger business than 5,000 Polish zloty. But let's get back to the questions. Martyna, when did you make that first money that you felt in your household budget? It doesn't have to be 5,000 Polish zloty, but one that was noticeable to you.
Bardzo.
After 2 months. Very quickly. Very. But it was a decision. I just made a decision. The moment I decided that I was the one who was going to start doing this business, then I started really training and implementing what I learned. I did it properly, and by the second month, I was making real, decent money, more than my salary. I was in shock. I swear, I was in shock. I thought I was going crazy with joy. And let me tell you this, I've been here 2 years, and every month that I've been here, my salary has been higher and higher, every month.
Bo tak powinno być, bo jeżeli więcej pracujemy, to więcej zarabiamy.
Because that's how it should be. Because if we work more, we earn more. And that's the brilliant thing about network marketing, is that you just don't have a boss who says, Martyna, thank you, you won't get any more. This raise will be 300 Polish zloty, maybe 500. Here, Martyna can give herself such a raise that she needs, that she wants, right? It was even less. It was less. Oh, Holy Mother. And Luiza, how was it about that first money that showed you, I want to do this. I want to make a difference in this family's life.
Wcześniej niż Martyna zaczęła pracować.
To be honest, I was implementing it slowly because it was still a bit before Martyna started working. And I didn't know that it was going to be on such a large scale, that it would develop so much. I just assumed that when I earn something, I'll be happy. but I think that it was about a year when I earned this certain amount of money. I was developing quite a long time. I think it's because of the lack of technology. I simply decided that I would not buy technology so quickly, and it was a mistake, because I think I would develop much faster, much further. But as I say, it was just the beginning. It was a time when I saw the salary scheme only after 2 or 3 months of being in the company. So only when I saw it, I understood that, oh no, I'm not going to be a full-time employee again. I'm not going to, because nobody's going to pay me that much. And that's the truth. And I've never gone full-time again. The fact is, I can't imagine going back for various reasons, because it's all about time management. For me, time is very important. So it's crucial for me to be the master of my own time. What Martyna said, that I just go out with my family, with my husband for a walk whenever I like. In the middle of the day, we eat breakfast, lunch, dinner together with my husband, because I love to share our meals. Because you two work together now, right? Because Sebastian works with you. Yes, we work together. After a year and a half, my husband joined me, and actually, when I say my husband joined me, the reaction is, wow, you guys don't do anything else? You're just doing this for a living? Such disbelief. I said, well, yes, of course, but I would not work for charity for 3.5 years in this company. But I have a family, I have obligations, I have to work, so I also have to earn money. So it was very important to me, this salary plan, to see that I can earn more and more here, that there is no ceiling. And I have to admit that even in a managerial position, I couldn't afford too many trips if I had a full-time job in my city. And I live in Gdańsk. And you've made the kind of money that made you think to yourself, gosh, I'm shocked, I'm proud that I made it. Yes, that's a good question, because I never suspected that I would earn such money. Really, for me, 5,000 Polish zloty a month was the peak of my dreams. When I was studying at school, at university, I used to say, well, if I earn 5,000 zloty, it will be great. Now I can't imagine how to live a decent life for that kind of money. So I really didn't expect it. I still think about it, and I don't believe it. Every month when I look at my bank statement, I think that it will take some time till I realize that this is really happening. Edyta, you are also a person who quite often says that she didn't come to this business for such amounts of money. Oh yes, that's why I'm going to reassure all the mums who think to themselves that this is impossible. I thought it was impossible too. That's how it started. But then a second thought came along. What if it's possible? And it has saved me. This second thought prevailed, and I decided to check it out. Simple as that. And I say to everyone, listen, check it out. This is not a matter of faith. This is a system issue. The company is listed on the New York Stock Exchange. This is not some information that's trumped up. This is real information. And I remember our first conversation. I remember asking you how much you make. I liked your answer. I thought to myself, okay, I came here for a little more. So it wasn't that amount. Whereas what's going on right now is total insanity, and I have the same thing as Luiza, that I look at my bank statement every month and the money transfers from the company, and I can't believe what's happening. Because when I was working in corporations and I was making good money in corporation, I would have to work at least 15 months to earn such money. I earn it here in a month. And I don't even want to compare that to my mum's income. My mum, like Martynka, was an accountant. I think that in those days, she would earn about 2,500 Polish zloty. My mum would have to work for a few years to earn that monthly salary. This is unbelievable. And it hurts me so much that people make so little money.
To jest niebywałe.
I mnie tak boli to, że ludzie zarabiają tak małe pieniądze.
That is why this program was created, to show you that there is a path that we have taken. A big team has already been there, and here you can gain so much with your own work. And you can be surprised every month, like Luiza and Edyta, that the money is growing and growing, and you simply can't believe it. But the truth is also that until we start and try, those 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 Polish zloty will not appear in our accounts. And only then our appetite starts to grow. But ladies, to sum up, we have to say openly that this business also requires sacrifice and commitment. It is not self-sufficient, as people often think. I will just join and wait for the results. I will register a few people and it will happen. Because this is a common opinion about this model. And I'd like to ask, have you sacrificed anything so far? And on the other hand, what have you gained by working with New Skin? Martyna?
A co przy tej okazji zyskałyście, pracując z firmą New Skin? Martyna.
Ale co jej poświęciłam? Tak jak Ania wspominała, że lubię...
Just like Anya mentioned that she enjoyed watching series, unfortunately, I did too. I had my favorite series. Today, I don't remember what the names of the characters were because it just doesn't interest me anymore. I have other interests that give me benefits. And not only me, but also my family. So I sacrificed, although it's not a sacrifice for me, that's not the right word here. I simply stopped doing the wrong things that didn't get me anywhere or didn't get me closer to my goal. But I had to realize that. I had to set that goal for myself and I had to know why I was doing it. Because when I don't know that, it's like getting in a car on a highway going from first gear to fifth and asking myself, why isn't it working? It's crucial to go through every gear one by one to know that it's fifth gear already and I can just go. So, as Edyta says, we start with ourselves here, right from the beginning. And did I get committed? Yes, from the very beginning. Yet, as I mentioned earlier, I watched the company for a year. And only after the year, I went like a bomb and fired away.
To też chcę powiedzieć naszym widzom. Obserwujcie nas ich 2 lata.
That's what I want to say to our viewers too. Watch us for 2 years, for 3 years if you need to. We will wait patiently. Because as the wisest people in this business say, good opportunities never end. But please watch us and make your decision when you are ready for it. Ania, what did you gain? What did you sacrifice?
Mówić o poświęceniu, jeżeli mówimy o seriale, ale myślę, że też to, co jest ważne, kluczowe w naszej pracy jest bardzo...
Like Martyna said, it's hard to talk about dedication if we're talking about watching a series. But what's important, what's crucial in our work is very good organization, I think. I mean, in any job, let's not hide it. This is a business like any other, especially if we talk about traditional business. But the difference is that initially we invest practically nothing. We buy technologies that make us simply more beautiful. What have I gained? I gained a lot. First of all, what we simply love, what I love, is that I do not have to adapt to anyone. If I don't feel like it, I don't do it. But if I feel like lying down on Monday, I can do it. If I want to work from noon and not in the morning because, for example, I'm doing something else in the morning, there is no problem. No one decides for me. No one makes decisions for me. Just me.
Też trzeba powiedzieć, czasami nie jest takie proste.
This is sometimes not so easy, let's be honest. At the beginning, it was quite hard for me to adapt to the new business model because I worked in a corporation for many years where I had certain duties.
Obowiązki. Tutaj też oczywiście mamy gotowy system.
Here, of course, we have a ready-made system, a ready-made scheme of action, which makes our work easier. But self-organization is critical.
I nie mam takiego poczucia, że...
And I don't feel like I'm missing something out. I do not feel it at all.
Luiza, ty jesteś dla mnie takim tytanem pracy. Ty jesteś osobą, która naprawdę...
Luiza, you are such a demon of work to me. You're the kind of person who, once she believes, she just keeps going forward. And it's so great to see how you and your husband are evolving out there. But I have a question. Being a young mum of 2 children, did you sacrifice something to have this sense of security and financial stability? And did you gain anything? To be honest, I would refer to what Martyna said, because I had such thoughts at the beginning for a long time. I think there are some people who are already doing the business, but they, and working on it slowly. I think there are some people who are already doing the business, but they are working on it slowly. Dobra. I think there are some people who are already doing the business, but they are working on it slowly, choosing to do or not to do something. I had this feeling that maybe the children are actually watching me on the phone. Maybe I am actually sacrificing something. But then my husband enlightened me and said, well, Luiza, if you were on a full-time job, it wouldn't be 2 hours on the phone. It would be 8 to 10 hours. You'd be gone. So it's better for my children to watch me sitting on the phone because I can give it at the same time of giving them food, drink, a hug, or a kiss. I can fulfill their needs to be together. So we spend a lot of time together. It doesn't matter that they're looking, that I'm on the phone, because I'd rather my children have the image of their mum looking at the phone instead of no mum at all, because she's not at home most of the time. Right. Can I add something? Sure. I recall this other story. When I was still working full-time and I had to go to some important meeting at 7 a.m., it was -5 degrees Celsius. It was windy. It was raining. There was hail. I didn't have a car at the time, but I had to get there somehow. And I didn't get any extra money for that meeting. It was my assignment. My boss told me to do it, and I had to do it. No discussion. No matter what the weather was like, no matter how I felt, cold, uncomfortable, public transportation, traffic jams, whatever, I had to go there. Today, if the weather was like this, I would go later, because I can organize my workday in such a way that I will do it when I want and when I need. And no one will get upset with me. No one will yell at me. I'm simply happy, and this is the beauty of this business that I appreciate.
Zawsze to mówiłam i to jest to, co jakby...
Working on our own terms, that's what I've always said. That's what gives us such a drive. So we do what we actually enjoy doing. We work with who we want, when we want, where we want, for as much as we need, for more than we ever expected. Edyta, what have you sacrificed? What have you gained?
My zarabiamy coraz więcej, ale dzięki temu...
I want to say that this work is not changing. We're making more and more money, yet by sharing those opportunities, that money is coming all the time, because more and more people are taking advantage of it. It may sound like there are no willing people to join, but it's actually on the contrary. Fortunately, there are a lot of people willing to do it, so it is already happening. I would like Karolina to ask one day this question. What have you sacrificed to gentlemen who work in corporations? They wouldn't know what she was even asking. See, we ask mums, what have you sacrificed? So again, it resonates that we sacrifice something and dads don't. There is no such thing. It's true that currently we work remotely, and in fact my husband works from home a lot. But before that he used to go to the office and he was not at home for 8 hours. Let's say 8.5 or 9 hours with commuting. And now we have the situation that we had a fantastic convention this weekend. We actually had 2 conventions because we couldn't fit all of us at once. And now someone might say, oh my gosh, but you work Saturday and Sunday. Yes, but because of that, I get to go on vacation with my kids for 2 months. Not a bad conversion rate. Sacrifice 2 days? Sacrifice. And then have 2 months of vacation? I'm the one who wishes everyone such sacrifices.
Poświęcić, a później mieć 2 miesiące wakacji. To ja życzę wszystkim takich poświęceń.
Dlatego o to pytam, bo każde...
That's why I'm asking this, because each one of your perspectives is different, and I think each one of us is such an eye-opener for the people who are watching us. And let me now take a peek at my phone and see the questions that are coming in while we live broadcast.
Na żywo. Pytanie numer 1.
Question number 1. How to believe in yourself that you can do it. Luiza?
Myślę, że trzeba sporo w głowie przepracować.
I think you have to work through a lot in your head, because actually, in the beginning, if we haven't done something like this before, it's all new to us. There are always questions in our head. Okay, others have made it, and I also experienced it when I met people who had already achieved what was unbelievable for me. But there was this question for a long time. Also, I was the youngest person in the company, from what I recall. I was 24 when I started. Okay, I'm so young. It's an anti-aging business. Not my thing, yet personally, but I saw a lot of potential in it. Not even my industry, as transportation and logistics was my thing, and the anti-aging business not, but I noticed those financial opportunities there. So actually, I can admit honestly, it's a matter of making a decision and working on yourself. I've put a lot of work on myself, and I don't regret any single minute. All those books I've read, I understood how the human brain works, why we make certain decisions and some don't. And I think anyone can do it. Anyone. There's no problem to pick up a book and read it. Read a book 15 minutes every day. I've realized that if I read books every day, I'm going to make more and more money. So I said to myself, okay, I will read books if I want to make more money. But people don't understand that that's enough to just put work into yourself and you can make it.
Tylko ludzie tego nie rozumieją, że to wystarczy po prostu włożyć pracę w siebie.
I think it's also important that we have such real support here, that amazing training team. Specific guidelines, certain tasks. Of course, everyone has to do this work on their own to believe in themselves. But I also think that each of us has to believe in ourselves in this business, that we can. It's not like this life of ours is a bed of roses and we were born self-confident, knowing that we would make it in this business. Because each of us had her own challenges in this business. Each of us had to learn a lot and find this path to follow.
Uczyć się i podążać tą ścieżką. Ania, dodałabyś coś do tego?
Ania, would you add anything to that?
Że przede wszystkim trzeba pamiętać,
What I would add is that above all, you have to remember that we have a ready-made scheme of action and support. And this is the most important thing here. And we learn everything step by step. We have the support of the leader who believes in us, who has noticed our potential, who works with us, and who has worked with us from the very beginning. Because here, nobody is left alone. Here, every person can, unless they don't want to contact us. There's several people, if not a dozen, who give ongoing support. To me, that's wonderful because I didn't have that when I was working in a corporation. So I think those fears of, am I going to make it in general, you have to get that out of your head and start. Just start taking action. You said, Karolina, to wait and observe, and I think it's a waste of time to wait and observe.
Że to mówisz, Aniu, bardzo dobrze, że to mówisz.
Very good of you to say that, Ania.
Biznes się bardzo zmienia.
I think it's just the business is changing a lot. We are growing. We're growing very rapidly. What Edyta said earlier about our recent convention, there were people at this convention, half of them at least, that I don't know, even though they're people that are in my business. So that's amazing. But it also shows that more and more people are opening up to new opportunities, and I'm very happy about that. And also I want to emphasize, it's this company we're talking about. I think the key is not to look, not to test, but to actually believe that this is something that we have tested. We did our homework ourselves. To trust. Fortunately, I just came across this company because I hadn't worked with any other network marketing company before. And I am really grateful that New Skin came to me. Very grateful. Looking and comparing the opportunities in other companies, here is just real money, not small. I also often tell Edyta that what's going on here is kind of crazy. These earnings that are coming in are just like a dream. I think that for people who work in a corporation, this money is unattainable. I don't know how long it would take to work in a corporation for it.
Już sprawdzałyśmy nawet to, że prezesi nie zarabiają.
We even verified the fact that CEOs don't make such money as our so-called middle level. Might be, might be.
Wrócę do
Back to the questions. As moms, how exactly do you plan your workday? Martyna?
Jak planuję swój dzień pracy?
How do I plan my workday? It depends on the day of the week. But you plan? Yes, I do plan. I can't imagine a different approach. Like I mentioned before, this plan and organization is very important because it will help us stabilize our work life and family life. It's very important. And the way I plan is that, of course, my son goes to preschool, so while he's in preschool, I can do a lot. I still have a daughter, but she's currently being taken care of by her grandmother, so high life for me. I can actually take care of it, but I make a plan for myself for the week, let's say what to do. But I also have a daily plan of my activities. I try to get them all done. If there is an activity that I don't do that day, I move it to the next day. What is also important, as the leaders tell us, and I confirm this, is to write everything down, make notes, make written plans. Then we really know what we have done, what we have to do, and how it works out.
Co mamy do zrobienia i jak nam to wychodzi?
I w jakich godzinach pracujecie?
And what hours do you work? That's the other question. Probably at various ones. Edyta?
W bardzo różnych godzinach, jeszcze odnosząc się właśnie do tego planowania.
At very various ones. I work very various hours, and I'd also like to say something about the planning. At some point, my husband and I, seeing that we had some kind of chaos and we don't understand what is going on at our place, because everyone has some other plans and we haven't fully established them before, we bought by a chance a special calendar graphic where we had our names written down and what is done by whom and when. And we had this rule that whoever writes first wins. Of course, later on, when we had cases of big importance, we were discussing possible adjustments. So I highly recommend to everyone writing down everything. As Martynka said in the beginning, this is very important. When something is written down, we react to it completely differently. And this planning, also let it be family planning. Yes, because we're talking about the kids here. So let's take that into consideration, what the plans are, what activities the kids have. Because as we say, we are just this job. This job is supposed to serve us, and we're not supposed to live for the job. And let's do that exactly.
Opowiedziałyśmy o tym, dlaczego warto do network marketingu, do naszego
I think we talked about why it's important to join our network marketing team as a mum. I guarantee you, dear viewers, that we will surprise you more than once in this program. I hope we will move you. I also hope that you like this show enough to share it on your social media. Subscribe to the new Power Show YouTube channel, which I sincerely ask you to do. If you have any questions or thoughts that you would like to share with us, please feel free to comment below this broadcast.
Proszę o komentarze pod tą transmisją. Dziewczyny, bardzo serdecznie Wam dziękuję.
Ladies, thank you very much for your presence. I hope that even more mums will join us. Although these mums, as I said at the beginning, I think that there are about 80%, if not 90% in our team already, which is a lot. But the potential of mums is there and it is growing. so we want as many women as possible to see it for themselves. Thank you very much for your presence. We survived in this heat, live. I know there were some distractions, yet I hope everything went properly. Thank you very much for your presence. Please be invited for next week. We will have a meeting with Karolina Rzeplińska, who will talk about whether traditional beauty business is a dream come true, or maybe it is worth having a wise plan B. You are cordially invited. Be with us. On behalf of Karolina, I would like to invite you. Thank you, ladies. See you soon. Good night. Have a good week. Goodbye.
Hooked on you, baby, you're golden. Time moves, I never noticed. Just can't get enough. Got me wonderstruck. Hooked on you.